June meeting of the Wyoming Board of Education. I'm calling this meeting to order. May I have a roll call, please?
Mrs. Barger? Here. Mr. Thomas?
Here.
Mrs. G? Here. Mrs. Aller?
Here. Would you all join me in the pledge, please? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, thank you. This is an exciting night. We have lots to do here. We're going to start, first of all, by talking about the process of filling the open board seat. We did indeed go through a whole long process. We did interviews. We have decided at this point to appoint Mr. John Feldmeyer, who is joining us this evening. And he's going to take over the seat of Justin Buckner, who is leaving us this evening. And just to make it absolutely understood, Mr. Feldmeyer's term is effective tonight through December 31st of 2023. So I would like to have a motion to approve the board appointment, please.
So moved.
Right?
Second.
And a second. Thank you. May I have a roll call?
Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Mrs. G? Yes. Mrs. Aller?
Yes.
Mrs. Barger? Yes.
All right, thank
All
you.
right, make this official.
Yeah.
Okay, well, raise your right hand and just repeat after me. I state your name,
I, John Feldmeyer,
swear and affirm
swear and affirm
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and that I will perform faithfully
and that I will perform faithfully
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
as a member of the Board of Education
as a member of the Board of Education
of the Wyoming City School District.
of the Wyoming City School District.
Welcome.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome to make a speech at this point.
Can we get a family?
Oh, absolutely. We're going to break for a picture first.
Yes,
here.
please.
Before anybody in the family disappears, you have to get in this picture.
We want to do it in front of this. We've done it in front of the sun.
Yeah, I'm just gonna move this stand.
Yeah, let's figure out. Move this out of the way.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
I'll take a hold.
I know. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, that's my handwriting, so this is good.
Come over this way.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Well, welcome. This is great. We're a team of five again. All right, and this evening, the next thing on our list is to reluctantly say goodbye to Justin Buckner. Justin is moving to California within hours, I don't know, days, I guess, really.
July 14th.
Yeah, I think hours was right. Justin, we want to thank you for your service, not just on the board, but your service to Wyoming City Schools. Certainly, you made it everything that, not just the fact that you attended Wyoming schools and have some loyalty as an alum, but you've come back and done so many wonderful things, and we appreciate everything you did. And so we say goodbye and wish you best of luck, but we will notice the hole you're leaving here as you leave. We have some gifts for you here. Come on up.
Come on. Is it door number one or door number two?
I believe these are your trading cards.
Oh, yes, it's trading cards.
So enjoy that.
You get your kids play with them.
Oh, yeah.
This is to remember us by.
Thank you.
And this is a gift from the board, but also the members of the admin building here. So I
thank
think
you.
that one we actually want you to open.
Okay, I will open it right now. It's like one of those unboxing things on YouTube or something. Thousands of viewers. Oh. for your happiness. Oh, wow.
Very gift receiver.
You're
Aw.
extremely happy. Very excited.
Thank you. This is so sweet. Aw.
So I think you'll have to explain.
Okay, so you don't know the Earth Cafe
I
yet?
don't know the Earth
Oh,
Cafe.
you'll
Is that
get
in
to know it.
California?
Yes.
We will.
So it's,
Oh.
and there's several locations, but it is like the place to go, especially near where you live. It's the place to go to see and be seen.
Ooh, okay.
And the food is really good, not just,
Awesome.
it's like brunch and breakfast.
Thank
and,
you so much.
I think there's one very close to where you are.
Okay.
They're all over, all over LA.
Here we go. West Hollywood, Beverly Hills, Santa Monica. Yeah.
You will come to love it.
Yeah.
Oh, I actually know where this address is. Okay, I will.
Report back.
Yes, remember for a selfie when you get there.
I will do it definitely.
Yeah,
myself. Thank you so much.
that's a good idea.
Sure. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Should I give it-
Absolutely.
All right.
Give a speech.
All right.
And then we're gonna ask, Mrs. Alsop is also
Okay.
eager to say something.
So I just want to say thank you all to the board. It's been a privilege being on the board with you all. Tim, Rhonda, I always brag about you two as the best staff member, superintendent that really any district in the country has. I mean, as we're doing school search in California, it just really hit me how special Wyoming is. And the fact that I grew up here, got a chance to volunteer and an alum, it just really made me feel blessed that my family made the decision back in 1973 to move to Wyoming. So I am more than happy, John, with your position on the board. And I know that the district is in very, very good hands. And I'll be back every once in a while. So don't worry, I'm not seeing the last of me, but I will take what I have gleaned from Wyoming and take it to the West Coast. But to the board, you all are amazing. We have had, in my short time here, some crazy great times. Crazy good, right?
And now it's all settled.
Now it's all settled. And I know that we are in good hands as we take Wyoming to the next 3 to 5 years. So it's going to be a nice fun ride the next 3 to 5 years. So John, you came in at the perfect time. So.
I feel almost guilty.
So Matt, I'm leaving on July 14th, so thank you so much for everything.
Great.
Thank you, Jim.
Alsop, would you like to say a few words too, please?
Yes, I don't come to these meetings much. I did for 17 years as a member of the Board of Education, and I was smart enough not to run again. We were blessed with Jeannie Zoller, who decided to take on the mighty task. I don't know, are you in your third?
Third term. Yeah,
Third term.
I have Deborah's seat. I ran for her open
So,
seat.
when I started on the board, I believe Justin I started in 1995. Were you in college?
No, yes, I was.
Okay.
I was a sophomore, right?
So Justin came back to Wyoming and he was involved in the CAC in the early days. Justin and I also were not seat mates, but we were close at Great Oaks board. And when he ran for the office, I agreed to work with him and give a speech at David.
Campaign.
Yes, actually at David Payne Park, and it was quite a speech. I was a great cheerleader, and I ended by, verbally saying, "And I dropped the mic." That's how powerful it was. So, Justin, you will be missed. I know you've been a great addition, and as all of you all have, I've never looked back. I don't come to your meetings to sit there and micromanage. I probably should have come during 2020. Just to get moral support. The board has changed significantly since I left in 2011, and Wyoming has been very blessed with world-class board members. So when you go to LA, think about it.
I'll think about it.
Think about it. So,
I'll just think about it.
congratulations,
Thank you.
and I appreciate your service.
Thank you so much.
Just Justin's other side. Eric is here as a show of support as well for you, Justin, and we thank you for all you've done for us.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Anyone else want to put some words in?
I'm going to leave.
Oh.
I usually do. I come and give my congratulations and I do.
Absolutely.
Hey, good to see you.
Totally
I'm going to
understood.
follow my guide.
Wait, wait, Justin, we're still talking about you. You
Oh!
Thanks, Debbie. No.
Can you wait a minute?
Here we go, I'll sit right here. Here we go.
All right, go, someone.
Let me roll.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh,
Well, go ahead.
no, you go, you go.
Parting is sweet sorrow. I remember when you called and said this was happening. Of course, I celebrate you and your family and what you experienced there. The one thing I was thankful for is I'll be in California in October and we'll get a chance to use your gift card at the Earth Cafe. One way or the other, we will get some time, together. It's funny to me that, joke about, I was telling people, I'm not Justin Buckner. I'm his older, less attractive friend, because paths that we've been on have been similar in different ways. It's just been a joy and a pleasure to be in this space and to, in a way, learn how you carry, the banner of Wyoming as such a proud graduate and individual who has significant impact in so many different ways and so many different areas. So I just pray blessing for you and your family and all the things that you go into.
Justin, I so love this past year with you on the board. And, but even before that, your involvement in the CAC and leading the forum and then giving the report afterwards, your experience on Great Oaks, just watching you through the years, how much you give. And I thought, I was telling my oldest daughter, who's now 23 one day, about, there's Justin Buckner, this guy we're gonna win. She goes, Justin Buckner, I love him. He did a presentation in our class on interview skills. He's awesome. I'm like, what? He's everywhere. And I just, you just are proud Wyoming, but I loved especially how much I learned during the campaign. Just, I think I learned a lot from you, how open you were to listening to people, what they had to say. You love Wyoming, but you're not afraid to ask questions and see where we could be better, and just appreciate all the ways that you give to the community that you love. So I'm sure you'll do the same thing in LA, but wish you well.
Thank you.
But my addition is, it's the same, I feel like, and I said this even to John, like, we became kind of like a great family, I think, over these past few years. It was bumpy, but then we got that much more connected, I think, with each other, and we're just as excited for you to join the fold with it, because I think through those hardships, it was lovely to get to know you better and serve with you, and how much I appreciated doing that work with people that I respect and can be honest with. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna miss you. It was, so we wish you very well.
Yeah, the Kais.
The Kais and our sons are both a Kai and the same birthday. I mean, come on, we're connected. Right? So we're excited for you, and to welcome to John, right? Like, it's absolutely a
No pressure.
big
No
meeting.
pressure.
I know. So we wish you well.
Thank you.
I'll go. And Kara alluded to this, but your fingerprints are on just such major initiatives here in this district, and it's just remarkable, from the search committee and how Tim was chosen to the work of the strategic plan. I mean, just those two things are so monumental when you think about just the vision of the district and where we're headed. And you were such a big player in both of those things. And as long as I've been in Wyoming, you've been part of the Great Oaks work and came passionately once or twice a year and shared your involvement with that. And I know that they were super sad to see you go. But we have a great successor for you there as well. So pretty excited about that. So you have super big shoes to fill. It'll be great. It'll be great, John. He's funny. Once you get to know him, he is very funny. Actually, this whole crew is very funny. So but maybe we shouldn't tell you that part just yet, but especially that one. Funny, kind, so wise, and that comes from just your passion and energy in this community, and so kind of miss you. But I know you'll stay connected, so,
Definitely.
yeah, thank you.
So 2 people to fill your shoes.
I guess so.
Yeah.
And I will also just share my appreciation for everything that you've done. Ilya used the word I wanted to make sure that I highlighted, and that's impact. We talk about impact all the time. Your ability to impact everyone, students, families, staff members, everyone that you touch, all the groups of folks that these people have named, has just been phenomenal. And I think that's because you have this passion for your work, and you do it with such intention and purpose, but with a smile on your face all the time. And that's special. So I guess in my mind, I want you to truly understand and feel the impact that you have provided and given to so many people here in Wyoming, because that is special. Okay?
Well, thank you. We are, I think we're done talking.
You can now leave.
That's a great.
That's a great
I guess meeting adjourned.
Yeah.
Trying to leave.
Honestly, I know you are coming back on occasion. Stop by.
I will.
Send us silly texts. You know how we always need those. Somebody's got like.
He's like, I think he's learned from Debbie. I think he's learning from Debbie. Maybe that's not the way to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's quietly hoping we don't keep him on all of our texts.
If I get a mood, I will not take offense.
All right, thank
Can
you.
you share your Netflix password?
I'm not getting free Netflix. I'm not getting free Netflix.
I wasn't thinking it was free for you. I just want to share your password. It's having such a positive impact on your stock.
Well, John, I will leave it to you with these band of fellow board members. And whatever.
Something.
Thank you.
Thanks,
We almost said characters.
I was gonna say cast of characters.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, Johnson. Goodbye.
Thank you, good night.
Bye, Erica.
I'm gonna pass a note around that came to the board too, while we're in the process of doing all these things that we're doing here. And so now we get down to the business of.
Bye.
Goodbye. Okay, everybody just leave.
I gave them permission to leave.
John,
I said,
do you
go.
know Sandy? Sandy is our president of the WEA.
No, I have not.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
And she's at our meetings.
Nice to meet you.
All right, thank you.
She is a faithful attendant.
She really is.
I'm,
73, sunny out
Did
there.
everybody see it?
Good for you.
no, I just started it around. The board committee reports, finance committee doesn't meet in the summer, so we're gonna move right on to citizens advisory, which actually hasn't met either, but you have a deadline coming up.
We do in August, so we have the open applications for individuals to be joining for the spot. So if people have someone who they know that's interested or they're interested themselves, that can be found on our website somewhere. Where
It's
under the
actually
website?
on the.
Is it right on the
front
front page? Okay,
Or,
great. And then we're meeting August 4th, I want to say, but not, so we've got a little bit of time.
Okay.
Yeah, I
but-
think that you might have said the date. The application process is open through the 31st of July.
Thank you.
And then you're gonna meet on the 8th to, or 4th, okay, that's to choose the
Shortly
committee
thereafter.
and choose the project.
Correct. Right. I have August 4th that we'd be
Okay.
meeting to then look at who applies and to finalize that.
Okay. All right, superintendent committee liaison reports, the belonging committee, I think kind of same thing.
Yeah, similar position we're in. We do have requests for community members that are interested in being part of the Belonging and Inclusion Collaborative. That application process is out or open until July 31st also, and we'll soon meet after that closes. And in August, pull the group back together and begin the work of the school year.
John is going to take Justin's positions on the two committees, so he will be on the belonging committee and he will be on policy. just so everybody knows. Community engagement. Has anyone anything to report?
I mean, honestly, when I'm looking back at the last meeting, it was end of May, it was really, the biggest thing for me was just the end of school activities, which feels like
A whirlwind.
yesterday and 6 months ago. So, I don't know, I'm trying to tell you. So really, it was a lot of that, just the different celebrations that were school related, and it was community wide, people out and about. We went to the last PSA, and that was the week before our last meeting, so.
I think we might have all been out of town for Juneteenth.
We were,
were.
and I apologize to
I
Tess.
know,
I
me
said,
too.
I said it just, we found out one person was leaving, and so we all left. That
I
way.
know, we were
all back together for meetings, so we missed
all the
Juneteenth.
celebration.
And I do know the science camp took place in our middle
Mhm.
school, and it was a success. Other than that,
I think
other-
Justin was their parting speaker, like they had a.
Oh, was he really?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I think we've all been out of town for that.
All right, thank you. Facilities committee.
What we're doing, well, you guys would speak on the work that started.
I would just comment on summer work. So as soon as students ended their year, our maintenance team, custodial team, jumped right in and started working on preparing classrooms for next year. So we've got some big projects happening. HVAC at the high school was definitely underway as soon as graduation was done. And so this is the time that they are creating great spaces for kids, and they're hard at work. So thank you to our entire custodial maintenance team.
Does that high school HVAC project seem like it's on a good schedule?
Right now it's on, yeah, we're early on. And so I think everything's going pretty smoothly. They did as much as they could before the year ended to be ready to go. Things like ceiling tiles and things like that, just to make sure that they were ready as soon as students were out. It's a tight squeeze. I know they're doing everything they possibly can to stay on schedule. And you can remember back to this early spring, late winter, where we were talking about supplies needing to be ordered just to make sure that things were on our campus ready to go. Yep. So far, we're in good shape.
And above us, when do things happen?
Oh,
The materials are there.
Yeah.
If you
Yes.
notice, they delivered all the materials on Friday, which is a good thing because we have 2 new leaks that came from the storm last night.
Mhm.
So I expected them to be working today, but maybe tomorrow. So it's happening. Everything is up there.
yeah, they will. I think they'll start to be pulling some of the older damaged roofing structures from the top of the roof here shortly, and we'll probably have a dumpster outside that wall right there for a little bit
That's
of time.
probably important to mention because it is going to be out front. So if
Yes.
people ask you, "Are you tearing down the boardhouse?"
Right.
Because it's gonna be a pretty big dumpster.
Yeah.
They just need it to just take materials off,
Mhm.
and it'll
Okay.
be there probably for a little while.
Okay.
And putting it out there prevents them from walking across the entire roof line and potentially damaging other spots, which we don't want to do.
Okay, all right, good to know. Thank you. Planning and goal setting.
I would say no real update here, but just thank you to lots of people who have been spending great amounts of time planning. That includes our board, who will be working on planning for next year. Our leadership team, our administrators, recently had a retreat where we're developing goals and actions for next year as a district. Our building leadership teams did the same thing, so they were really doing some great work at planning for the specific goals and actions that will make a difference for kids. And so, a lot of times people think that the summer is the time to pause and relax, and it is in many ways, but there's an awful lot that gets done during the summer. Some heavy lifting, if you will, and planning for things to come.
Thank you. Policy, we are going to actually, we've had a second reading of 2 policies that's coming. Otherwise, the policy committee has not met and student achievement has not met. So let's move on to the Board of Education report. Second reading of 2 policies, superintendent of schools and duties of the treasurer. Any comments? All right. Then our next on our list is the appointment of Great Oaks board member Toya Wall, who's going to fulfill Justin's term. And the term ends December 31st, 2022. She did say that tonight was her husband's birthday, and so she was unable to be with us. So it's my understanding, she has talked to both Deborah and to Justin and is ready to take it on. And we will ask her, maybe even a couple times a year, Karen and I were talking about this, to ask her to keep us up to date on, and she would come and report to the board, tell us what's going on with Great Oaks, because she'll be our representative there. And we should be very excited. And then her new term would start in January, and hopefully we'll be able to get her to renew for, are they 2 or 3 year terms? 3 year terms.
Oh, so we would have to, I made a note on my calendar in November to make sure we take action in December. Okay, for the next 3-year term.
All right, great, thank you. All right, may I have a motion to approve the education report, Board of Education report? So moved. And I will second. May I have a roll call?
Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Mrs. G?
Yes.
Mrs. Zoller?
Yes.
Mrs. Broderick?
Yes.
Mr. Feldmeyer?
Yes.
Thank you.
Treasurers.
Thanks, Jeannie. Item A is approval of the minutes from the meetings on May 23rd, the regular meeting on May 23rd, the planning meeting on June 7th, and then the special meeting on June 7th, and then the special meeting on June 8th. Item B is approval of the financial report for month ending May 31st. Item C is final appropriations for fiscal year 22, approaching fiscal year end here on Thursday of this week. Item D is temporary appropriations. I explained both of those in my update this week. We finalize fiscal year 22 and then start with temporaries for the following fiscal year until the amended certificate is approved by the Budget Commission. Item E, accept with appreciation the list of donations. Item F, the annual resolution requesting the county auditor to make the advance payments of taxes. Item G, the annual HCC contract, that is for EMIS and DAZZLE and a number of our reporting mechanisms that run through HCC. Item H is a 1-year extension of the lease agreement with Only Libraries. It is a 1-year extension, but both of us have agreed that it will last a year. She's looking for new space and she could be out as early as September or October. But we went ahead just in case it didn't work out because the notification was 3 months and neither of us gave notification before the last term ended. So, but I do expect it to be over in September, October. Item E is approval of an advancement and J is approval of the report, please.
All right, may I have a motion to approve the treasurer's report?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All right, may I have a roll call?
Mrs. G?
Yes.
Mrs. Zoller?
Yes.
Mrs. Broderick?
Yes.
Mr. Feldmeyer?
Yes.
Mr. Thomas? Thank you.
Superintendent's report.
Okay, thank you. We have several personnel items. Under item A, number 1, being a recommendation to approve a resignation that has come in for the upcoming year. Number 2, recommendation to approve new personnel, and this is Keela Johnson, who is going to be at our front office at the high school. So we're excited for her to join the high school team. Number 3 is a recommendation to approve summer English language arts curriculum work. And this is work that our primary team is going to be doing to help provide professional development regarding literacy for the upcoming year. Lots of great work and ELA happening at the primary level. Number 4 is a recommendation to approve boot camp essay readers, and these staff members are supporting students throughout the college application process. Just a great support, and they read essays and provide feedback to students. Number 5, recommendation to approve work that was done by our evaluation committee during the course of this past year. And these individuals really helped to support our entire staff to transition into the new evaluation model. Number 6 is a recommendation to approve payment to these staff members who participated in this specialized, again, literacy training. So this is very individualized, specialized literacy professional development that helps them support individual students in the classroom. Number 7, this is a recommendation to approve summer athletic camp counselor. Number 8, recommendation to approve primary summer reading camp. This is one of those initiatives that is paid for through COVID relief funds, a way to support student learning. So you can see there's a coordinator there and a teacher for that camp.
Do you know how many people are doing that?
I don't have the number of students who are participating. I'm interested to know. I know sometimes the summer is is a challenge.
Mhm.
It's important to have the program developed, but sometimes students can't always take advantage of that, so I'll get that number. Number 9, this is a recommendation to approve additional workers who were part of that science technology camp that you spoke about, Jeannie. Again, student numbers were huge, so we had lots of students participating in that, so we needed additional staff. Number 10 is recommendation to approve additional days for enrollment work. So this is transitioning through to a new program to support enrollment. Number 11 is a recommendation to approve these staff members who are part of what will be the middle school after-school tutoring program. And so that'll happen throughout the year. And this is an after-school support to students that need that specialized service. Number 12, recommendation to approve summer camp. Band, these are summer band camp staff members, counselors, just another great opportunity for our students. Number 13, recommendation to approve, actually, there is a change to the agenda, so you should see a blue sheet. John, if there's ever a change to the agenda, it'll be notified on what we call a blue sheet. So the change, the revision to the agenda is lands with a recommendation to approve athletic supplemental and athletic supplemental contract for fall weightlifting.
Instead of all.
Yeah, instead of all of those, we're focused on fall first. And then number 14 is a recommendation to approve payment for a staff member who supported a Xavier University student teacher. And this is typical. We receive payments from the university to support, to go to those individuals who are cooperating teachers. And then items B, C, and D, you'll see that these are contracts from Hamilton County Educational Service Center, and they are all in support of specific student needs. And items E and F are both contracts with St. Rita for the deaf. These are, again, are for specific student services. And then G is a recommendation to approve the Maximum Healthcare Services Agreement, and this is contains additional nursing services for students. That's a lot. Any questions on any of those items? I did get my glasses for that.
No, I'm thinking I'm always grateful that you send Friday updates with a lot of this information. So we
Right.
have plenty of time to digest it and because, yeah, it's a lot of good stuff.
Well, it's a great way to help people that, some of our students with the appropriate help they need.
Yep. And that's really what all of those are about.
All right, may I have a motion to approve the superintendent's report? May I have a second?
Second.
May I have a roll call?
Mrs. Aller,
Yes.
Mrs. Barker,
Yes.
Mr. Feldmeyer,
Yes.
Mr. Thomas, Mrs. G.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, now we have another superintendent's report.
We do, just one additional item to approve an additional teacher for the after-school program, the tutoring program for middle school. And again, we'll work with the others to help support students in that after-school tutoring structure.
All right, thank you. May I have a motion to approve that superintendent's report?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
May I have a roll call?
Mrs. Barker? Yes. Mr. Feldmeyer,
Yes.
Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Mrs. G.
Yes.
Mrs. Aller.
Abstain. Thank you. All right, we are, wow,
Whoa.
record time.
Not yet.
Don't get excited.
Yeah.
You guys should know better.
Come on. Okay, made it to the superintendent's update.
Let's see, maybe I should open this up and, no. I'm teasing. I absolutely have an update. and I think an important update. I wanted to speak to the summertime being the time for planning. And we've spoken about some of the great ways that great things that happen during the planning process, beginning with our board here, our administrators, our teachers, our maintenance custodial group. I would say that goes on throughout the entire district. So all of our staff members in some way, shape, or form are planning for a great year next year. And so again, I just want to emphasize that summertime is not a time where people don't do anything. Summertime is a time when people work so that their year is a great year for kids in the upcoming year. Specifically, with regard to planning, I wanted to talk just for a bit about safety. And we know that safety operations recently. And so I wanted to speak specifically to safety and some things that were on my mind that I wanted to share with this team. Again, we take it, the responsibility of developing safe environments for students and staff very seriously. And so I wanted to speak to what that looks like and how that happens here in the district. So first of all, really, there are three different lenses that we look through when we think about safety. One being culture and climate. And that's developing a culture where people feel connected, people feel valued, and they feel that sense of belonging that we've spoken about so much. That's critical. That's an important piece of a safety plan. Secondly, we talk a lot about facilities and what do we have in our facilities that helps to keep our students and our staff safe. And then the third piece is connected to our safety protocols. In preparation for a potential crisis, during a crisis, and after a crisis, what protocols do we have in place that help protect our people? And so those are really the three prongs, if you will, that we look at through a safety lens, and continue to try and find ways that we can improve within each one of those. And that's part of the planning that's going on this summer. Mike Anderson, who's transitioning into the role of facilities administrator, will be working with me and then with our entire district safety team to think about and consider all of those pieces. I will dive into those a little bit just to share some things that are happening specific to each one of those areas. When we think about climate and culture, we are again trying to really make sure that people feel connected and feel as though they belong. And when they don't, we're trying to identify the plans that we have in place when that's the case. As we've talked about as a board team, we discussed the strategic plan and the introduction of a new pillar to the strategic plan on social, emotional health and wellness. And so within that new pillar, we have some goals that we're working toward this year. One of those is the development of a wellness team, a district wellness team. That wellness team will think about strategies connected to prevention, intervention, and family engagement. So really, again, connecting folks within our district. They're also going to be making a goal this year to develop a wellness screener that our students would take 3 times a year. And this is that quick temperature check. And how are our kids doing? And what are our kids saying? It values student voice. And so how can we better understand where our students are and when they're needing help and asking for help, how do we make sure that we get that, connect people to that? And then the third piece of that wellness team is to look at a social and emotional curriculum that's integrated with the role of the guidance counselors. So the guidance counselors can work to make sure that there's building level and grade level instruction to students, small group targeted interventions when needed, and then individual counseling supports with students who need that. In addition to the work of the strategic plan, we are looking at increased efforts regarding anti-bullying efforts, and that comes from the CAC. And we'll be talking more and more about the CAC study about bullying. We are continuing to implement our peer-to-peer Hope Squad suicide prevention program at the high school. And so we'll be continuing to talk about how that can help support our kids. And then we're actually auditing our current program and just investigate any additional opportunities that we could put in place for our kids, all within the context of culture and climate. Within facilities, just some things that come to mind that we often don't think about. Just the way that people enter the building and entrance and buzzing people in and making sure that we understand folks' purpose for being in buildings is important. The Raptor volunteer background checks, cameras that monitor our facilities, and we'll be continuing to look this summer at additional ways that we can support safe structures facility-wise within our buildings. And then the third prong is, regarding safety protocols. Our school and district safety plans are completed and they're reviewed annually. And that's a critical piece to making sure that our students and our staff feel safe. How are we talking and thinking about what happens, either in preventing a situation, what happens during a situation, and what happens after an emergency situation. So regular practice of safety drills with students and staff and connecting that work with first responders is part of what we do, because we want to make sure that we're getting feedback from first responders. We have a district threat assessment team that's received training, another important piece of that. And then again, part of the summer's work is continuing to review our overall plan and creating structures that we can add to that plan if they will help keep our students and our staff safe. Again, the focus is really on 3 areas: culture and climate, facilities, and safety protocols. You probably have seen as much as I have on the debate about weapons in school districts. And whether it's teachers or administrators, there's talk in some districts about doing that. I will make sure that, I mentioned our safety protocol. This is one of the reasons I wanted to talk about this. Our protocols, our safety plan is built in those 3 pillars that I spoke about. Culture and climate, safe facilities, safety protocols. Our policies, our district policies, as you know, actually prohibit staff members from possessing, storing, making, or using a weapon. And so as a district, we are not moving in that direction, and we can speak to that more as a group if you'd like to do that, but I wanted to make sure that that point was made. We will continue to focus on growing within each of those 3 areas that I mentioned and continue to look for ideas that make us better. And that, again, is part of the planning. When I think about future steps, we are, again, meeting to discuss the things that we have in place this year. We'll have regular discussions with our first responders, and as opportunities for discussion within our school district or our community come up, we'll entertain those opportunities for discussion. One of those I thought was important that you can bring up today, and you might have more specific information than I have. I'm aware of a community engagement opportunity on safe gun storage. Makes sense for us to be talking about. That's an option for our families to connect with. And that is being held at the Wyoming Branch Public Library, I believe, July 11th. I don't know if anyone else has that date, July 11th at 7 p.m. So I thought that was important. It's connected to safety, obviously, and
Is there a way we can announce that even on our website or some communication piece?
yeah, I was
from the
looking,
school?
well, and it can be part of this information that comes out for me afterwards as an
Oh,
update.
right. the
So I can
email,
make sure that I
right,
highlight
right.
it too. But I have not seen it printed, so I'd have to find out when it's printed.
Melissa Erickson is
Mhm.
organizing it, and I don't know.
I think there'll be a speaker who's speaking to the program,
Mhm.
and, but I'm not sure. I don't have that contact
Is
information.
the library right here?
Mhm. So maybe we can follow up with. or we
I can
look
get
at
that information.
Yeah, and put that in minutes, I guess, or your notes, right? Or something.
Yep.
He'll put it in his letter for
Yep.
sure. Here we go. Wyoming Public Library, July 11th, 7 to 7:30. And it's Sandra Jackson, the local lead for the Be Smart Secure Gun Storage Program.
I just thought that was important.
I think
to-
it's very
to speak-
important,
to
and I
speak
mean,
to. Mhm.
I know I get asked those questions as well.
Yeah.
With frequency.
Can I ask, well, I want to make sure you get to the end of your
Sure,
update.
yes.
Oh, yeah.
I am. Go ahead.
Are you finished with?
Yes.
Did you have, oh, okay. A couple points of clarification. And I don't know if this is something we need to discuss as a group, but House Bill 99 that would arm staff with less than 24 hours of training. That is not something, this may seem obvious, but I do feel like we need to make the point, this is not something where people can say, decide on their own, a staff person, oh, I can do this now. And then, this is something that the board would direct a district to do. And I read our policies and I feel like it's pretty clear that we don't do this, but there is like some opening. And I don't know if we want to make a statement of some sort. I don't necessarily, Cincinnati Public Schools passed a resolution saying they are not for arming staff in schools. And when you talk about first responders, I assume you're talking about the police,
Police,
you know, our
fire.
local,
Mhm.
those
Yeah.
first responders.
Yeah.
And when you were talking about training,
Mhm.
you weren't talking about gun training.
Correct,
You were-
yes.
I know you,
Right,
I know you
right.
weren't,
I'm
but I
glad you-
just,
I'm glad you said
I
that.
just wanted to,
No, our
make
training
the
is, when
statement.
something happens here,
Yeah.
let's make sure that
Yeah.
we're talking about and helping students understand, to make it very simple,
Yeah.
what happens during a fire drill. And so let's make sure that we're going through and modeling and practicing what happens during a fire drill. No, I was not talking about. training.
yeah, and I know you weren't,
But
but
I'm
I
glad you
just
clarified,
wanted
yes.
to, you know,
Yes.
have you clarify so
Mhm.
that, we know. And I was reading an article on House Bill 99, and before the governor signed it into law, both, Ohio Teachers Association, but also the Fraternal Order of Police spoke out against it, as this would not make our schools safer. And, you know, I am in agreement in that thinking about it as a board member. You know, maybe that's something we talk about at the retreat, if we want to make a statement, or if it's enough to just proceed as we're doing. I mean, our policy is current, but it says unless the board decides, kind of thing,
Mhm.
because it's listed as one of the exceptions.
Mhm.
So I don't know if we want to clarify that in policy or just make a statement.
That's a good question, just because
Sure.
I know that's what people who are paying attention to news will ask. They're like, you're on the board, you're not, our teachers aren't gonna start carrying guns, are they?
No,
And so we just answer that as people, but, you know, even just having this discussion.
It brings it to a discussion that we can talk about what those options are to make sure that we're very clear in our messaging and what we do and what we don't do. Yeah.
yeah.
I will say annually, when you give us this update, I'm grateful and sad every time. That is something, we even have to talk about, and that you put so much time in, and it makes me trip every time, and thank you for doing that. It's a shame that,
I think we have
to
to,
happen for people,
Mhm.
so thank you for making it, but that you review it every time too, because things change, and that you get comfortable with our small town, and that people know each other, but you also wanna look at where we could be going.
I would also direct that thank you to our teachers
Oh,
too.
yes,
Once
I
a year,
that's what
through a professional development
Oh.
during those first couple of days.
2 hours.
Review all of this, and it's not a pleasant
Mhm.
situation as they look at potential things.
And unfortunately, the world that we live in right now, it's not just, and as we come into this school year, it can't just be right at the beginning of the
No.
year. It's gonna have to be something that we look at periodically throughout the year, and we're always ready for.
Mhm.
It's just,
One of the things that seems to be somewhat common in these major incidents is the social media announcement or suggestion that it's going to happen. The perpetrator makes some
Mhm.
photo or statement or something that would give those within their social media orbit, a sign, if you will. Is there anything we could do with the students during orientation early in the year to kind of provide a protocol for if you see something, say something, and give them a kind of a directive, if you will, that it's part of their responsibility, social and otherwise, to say something, and then this is the best way to go about it. Not necessarily a hotline, but maybe a clear indicator as to who they should contact if one of their friends, posts something that they find perhaps troubling.
yeah, I think that's an important point, and so many times that conversation happens after something happens, and we say, oh, wow, this is what we need to be focused on, but just to jot that note about entering that into the conversation with students, because it's not a conversation we have outside of students, it's with students that we have as they come back. And so, yeah, I think that's an important piece to it.
And it's sort of you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't that was sort of the same idea with Hope Squad? Is that if you see a student struggling,
Yes.
you tell an adult, you tell someone. And it'd be kind of the same idea, I think.
And we do have a hotline, so it'd be a great opportunity to reinforce that message.
Mhm.
Because I think you're right, we know it, or the teachers know it, that, so I think at the start of the year, but some reminder throughout the year, because I think all of us, you do the paperwork, you're reading it, the kids kind of know, and then suddenly it's November
Right.
and everyone forgets.
The discussions that we've been in, or I've seen, I thought Hope Squad was more looking at kids who are troubled in a space where they may do harm to themselves versus the announcement of harm they may do to others.
Yeah.
Is Hope Squad feasible to look at both of those things, or is the helpline the best way to?
Well, I think.
Well, I
think
just
you were
meant the
drawing a
point,
correlation
yeah,
of
I was
peer to
just-
peer supporting one another, so it's
Right.
making sure that we're letting people know when there's a problem, if that problem is
Yeah.
about, Hope Squad is really about suicide prevention, absolutely. But just creating the environment where, we've got to take care of.
There are lots of ways
us.
that we need to
Right, we've got to
communicate and.
make sure that people feel good about speaking out when there's a concern.
And I have to say, like, my view is largely the high school from not the big picture, but, we use the high school, and I just kind of witnessed over several years, I feel like teachers are making big strides in relationship building with kids, and that I feel more than I've seen in the past. I don't know if your survey my prediction is that the survey will show more kids have more adults they can talk to. And I'm curious to see if that pans out, because I anecdotally feel, just from what I'm hearing, that is the case.
Yeah, I think normally that would be the case. I actually worry more about our middle school, as you think about 7th and 8th graders having access to firearms in their homes and what emotional things they're processing through and how they're handling it or not, and those kind of things. So I know we've been digital in those spaces, so I think whatever we're seeing that's driving that additional connection at the high school, it will be helpful to understand how do we reapply that in the middle school. Because in that 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th period of time, it's a funky, bad time, to be a human being, trying to figure out who you are and who the other people are. You're not picked for the thing or not included in the thing, it's hard to handle, I think, so.
And Tim, I think I hope you'll continue communicating the way you do in the face of certain events. I know sometimes that creates a swirl sometimes when you do that and you send a message to the community, but each time I think it's the larger community, it's been very helpful. And now that you kind of established the reports, your emails after the meeting, you have more opportunities, but I feel like you've done a good job. Like I feel like there were things that happened that you would communicate to families about, like at the, around the holidays and, unfortunate things, but.
But
I
important
do
to
good,
bring to the.
I do hear about that from people. Just the noticing of that coming out and, like, thankful to get the information.
Direct.
Yes. Right.
Okay.
Yep. I think I'm saying, there's always that tough bit where you can only share so much, sometimes when things are happening, and that we all know that, and that's sometimes for people to realize they're not gonna know everything that's happening, but to know that you see it,
They're
or that
being
you all, the
recognized in
teachers
some
and
way,
you.
right.
Anyway, I've heard good feedback on it. Thank you for all.
But I think that helps drive future conversations then about how we can, make sure we're very clear
Mhm.
on working through this.
So these items are going to be in your letter, in the letter reporting on this. And then if we want to act as a board, that would need to be something we have to add to a future agenda. Okay. And whatever form we want that to take. We need to actually keep that alive and
Sure.
talk about it. Okay. All right, well, thank you. I would like a motion at this time to move to executive session.
So moved.
And may I have a second? I'll second. So we're going to move to executive session. So we're not going to adjourn, but we are going to move to executive session to consider the employment of a public employee.
Mr. Bellmeyer,
Yes.
Mr. Thomas,
Yes.
Mrs. G,
Yes.
Mrs. Zoller,
Yes.
Mrs. Berger.
Yes, thank you.